Thank you for coming back to our channel, Legends Leaving. We made a list of the famous actors who died today and put it in this memorial video. Those famous people who will be missed, but who made important contributions to their works, have sadly died today. Please show your love by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. Six. Johnny Dandy Rodríguez Jr., whose real name was John Rodríguez Jr., and who was born in New York City on September 11, 1945, was a famous Puerto Rican bongo player who made important contributions to Latin music, especially salsa and Latin jazz. From a very young age, Rodríguez was greatly affected by the sounds of Latin music. He grew up in Spanish Harlem, a lively neighborhood full of Puerto Rican culture. His father was also a musician and introduced him to drums. He quickly became deeply interested in the bongos. Rodríguez had already started to become known in the local music scene by the time he was a teenager. Rodríguez got his big break when he was only 17. He was asked to join Tito Puente's group, which was one of the best Latin bands at the time. This chance marked the start of a long and successful career. Rodríguez quickly became an important part of Tito Puente's sound as the bongocero for the orchestra. He helped the band become famous and spread Latin music around the world. Because he knew a lot about Afro-Cuban rhythms and played with great accuracy and energy, he was in high demand as a drummer in the Latin music community. Besides working with Tito Puente, Rodríguez also did work with Tito Rodríguez, Ray Barreto, and Alfredo de la Fe, all of whom are famous in Latin music. When it came to percussion, he was very flexible and could play in a lot of different styles. This made his friends respect and admire him. During his career, Rodríguez recorded and played on many albums that are now considered classics in the world of Latin music. He was also an important part of the Fania All-Stars, a group of the world's best salsa singers who helped spread the music all over the world. Rodríguez was known for more than just his singing skills. He also worked hard to protect and spread Latin music and culture. A lot of the time, he took part in educational classes and workshops where he taught and inspired younger musicians. Throughout his career, he won a number of awards and honors for his work in the area. John Dandy Rodríguez Jr. died on August 17, 2024. He was 79 years old. His death put an end to an era in Latin music, but his records and the many musicians he inspired can still be heard today. Rodríguez had a huge impact on Latin music, and he is known as one of the best bongo players of all time. 5. The renowned French actor Alain Maurice Marcel Delon was born on November 8, 1935 in Sceaux, France. He became one of the most famous people in European film. Delon became known as a cultural and cinematic leading man of the 20th century thanks to his stunning good looks, intense screen presence, and undeniable charisma. He captivated viewers all over the world. He became famous when he became a big star in French films of the late 1950s and early 1960s. He quickly became a sign of dark masculinity and interesting allure. As a child, Delon had a rough childhood because his parents split up when he was young. After serving in the service for a short time, he went back to France to try to become an actor. In the 1960 movie Purple Noon Plein Soleil, he played the charming but dangerous Tom Ripley, which was his big break. This part showed how well Delon could play complicated personalities and made him even more of a rising star. His career took a big step forward when he worked with famous directors like Luchino Visconti, John Pierre Melville, and Michelangelo Antonioni. Delon's place in movie history is solidified by movies like Rocco and His Brothers 1960, El Eclipse 1962, and Le Samurai 1967, which became classics. During the 1960s, 1970s, and 1980s, Delon kept giving strong performances in a lot of different types of films, from noir thrillers to love comedies. People around the world saw him as a sex icon and compared him to Hollywood stars like James Dean and Marlon Brando because of how mysterious and cool he seemed. Delon was very private, and he avoided the press a lot when he wasn't working on films, even though he was a huge star. His personal life, on the other hand, got a lot of attention from the media, especially his relationships with famous actresses and his role in several legal cases. Delon did more than just act. He also produced films and started his own business, which increased his impact in the industry. During his career, he won many awards, including the César Award for Best Actor in 1985 for his part in Notre Histoire. He was given the Legion of Honor, France's highest civilian honor, in 2008 for his work in French film, which was recognized with a special César Award in 1991. Over the course of his later years, Alain Delon slowly stopped acting, but his impact was still praised. He was still a respected figure in the movie business and a symbol of the best French films. Delon died on August 18, 2024, at the age of 88. He left behind a large body of films that continue to inspire actors and directors around the world. There will never be another actor like him, but his influence on films and pop culture will mean that he will always be known as one of the best of his time. 4. It is well known that EVJ Michin was a Russian IFBB professional bodybuilder, personal trainer, model, and actor. He was known for having a great physique and making important advances to the world of bodybuilding. Michin was born on February 21, 1976 in Otradny, Russia. He became interested in exercise and strength training when he was very young. He became a professional bodybuilder because he loved the sport so much that he quickly became known for having great muscle mass, symmetry, and fitness. During his competition years, Michin was over 300 pounds and stood 6 feet 3 inches tall. He was known for being very strong and intimidating. In the early 2000s, Michin started competing in bodybuilding events. In 2003, he got his IFBB Pro card, which was the start of his competitive career. During his career, he participated in many high-profile events such as the Arnold Classic and Mr. Olympia, and always came in near the top of the pack. People around the world looked up to him as an important person in the bodybuilding community because of how hard he worked and how dedicated he was to the sport. Michin worked as a personal trainer in addition to being a bodybuilder. He helped other people reach their fitness goals by teaching them about diet and strength training. A successful model, he was known for having a great body and a striking look, which got him on many magazine covers and in ads. Michin's charisma and unique look got him roles as an actor, and he was in a number of films and TV shows which increased his impact in the fitness and entertainment industries. He was 48 years old when he died on August 17, 2024. People in the bodybuilding world will miss him a lot. They looked up to him as both a competitor and a mentor. Bodybuilders and fitness fans all over the world are still inspired by Michin. He is known for his contributions to the sport and his huge personality. 3. John Lansing's long career as a journalist and broadcaster in the United States. John Lansing held top positions in some of the most well-known media outlets in the country. Lansing was born on July 3, 1957 in Albany, New York. He became interested in journalism and broadcasting at a young age, which led him to follow a career that would make him a major figure in the media industry. He started his job as a reporter and producer and worked his way up at local TV stations, where he learned how to be a good manager and journalist. Lansing took on a big leadership role when he became president of Scripps Networks in 2005 and stayed in that job until 2013. He led the network to more people and more power, especially through its famous lifestyle channels like HGTV, Food Network, and Travel Channel. Lansing's strategic vision and ability to adapt to a media world that was changing quickly were key to Scripps Network's success during his time as CEO. Scripps is a well-known name in the lifestyle content business because of the way his work changed the way Americans read and watched it. Lansing was made CEO of the U.S. after leaving Scripps, Agency for Global Media EVJ in 2015, where he was in charge of the federal agency in charge of foreign broadcasting that wasn't related to the military. He was in charge of the Voice of America, Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, and the Office of Cuba Broadcasting in this job. Lansing's time at EVJ was marked by his work to protect press freedom and fight fake news, especially in places where independent journalism was in danger. He spoke out a lot about how important free and independent media are for defending human rights and democracy around the world. Being the CEO of NPR in 2019 was one of the most important jobs in American news. During his time at NPR, he worked to make the organization more financially stable, grow its digital presence, and make the staff more diverse and welcoming. Lansing's leadership at NPR stood out during the COVID-19 pandemic when the organization was very important for giving people accurate news and information. He also played a big role in solving problems with funding and getting people to listen, which kept NPR an important news source for millions of people. John Lansing left his job as CEO of NPR in February 2024, ending a long and important career. Lansing died on August 14, 2024, which was very sad. People who worked in journalism and broadcasting will miss him a lot. He was a respected leader who believed that the media should inform and educate the people. Lansing left behind a legacy of journalistic honesty, new ideas in radio, and a strong belief in the values of free and independent media. 2. Bob Weatherwax, born on May 18, 1941, Bob Weatherwax was a respected dog teacher and a well-known figure in Hollywood's animal training community. He carried on the famous family name. He grew up with some of the most famous dog stars in films and TV shows because his father was Rudd Weatherwax, the famous trainer who worked with the original Lassie. Bob learned a lot about animal behavior and loved training dogs from a very young age. These interests would later shape his work and make him a major figure in the history of animal actors in Hollywood. The Weatherwax family was known for having some of Hollywood's most beloved animal stars, and Bob was a big part of keeping that image alive. He started out his job by working with his father and learning how to train dogs for movies. Bob quickly showed how skilled and dedicated he was, and in the 1970s, he took over teaching Lassie. Lassie continued to win people's hearts under his direction, solidifying her place as one of the most famous animals on TV. Bob worked with Lassie on many TV shows, films, and public events, making sure that the beloved collie stayed a symbol of bravery and loyalty for many years. In addition to Lassie, Bob Weatherwax helped train other well-known dogs in Hollywood. With dogs like Asta from the Thin Man series, Toto from The Wizard of Oz, and Spike, who played Old Yeller, his family had already made a big name for itself. Bob kept this practice alive by training dogs that were in many films and TV shows, solidifying the Weatherwax name in the entertainment business. Not only was he good at teaching tricks, but he also knew a lot about how dogs think and felt, which helped him make sure that his dogs could do hard things on order without hurting themselves. Bob Weatherwax was well known in the business for teaching his dog stars in a humane way and getting the best out of them. He fought hard for animals to be treated properly in the entertainment business, and his work set the bar very high for how animal artists should be treated. During his career, he won many awards for his work in films and TV shows. But the most important thing about his memory is that his trained dogs brought happiness and inspiration to millions of people. She died on August 17, 2024, when she was 83 years old. Because of his work, animal stars in Hollywood will never be the same again. But his impact on the field of animal training will last for generations. Weatherwax's work not only made people laugh, but it also set a standard for how animals should be cared for and trained in the entertainment business. This made sure that animals' contributions to films and TV shows were recognized and appreciated. Boris Yelchin was a famous Soviet and Russian actor and voice actor who was known for his ability to play a wide range of roles in films and plays. Bystrov was born in Moscow on February 12, 1945. He became interested in acting at a young age and went on to study at the famous Shukin Theater Institute. He began his work on stage after graduating, where his talent and charm quickly made him famous. Bystrov was a well-liked actor in Soviet and Russian films because he could play many different roles. While he was working in films in the 1960s and 1970s, Bystrov won a lot of praise and became one of the most famous players of his time. He was in many types of films, from historical plays to comedies, which showed how versatile and deep he was as an actor. His acting was very natural, and he was able to show how complicated his roles were with great sensitivity and nuance. Bystrov made important advances to Soviet cinema and was a major force in shaping the culture of the time. While Bystrov was also known for his acting, he was also a very recognized voice actor. People became familiar with his voice through his work in audiobooks, cartoon films, and radio plays, as well as by dubbing foreign films into Russian. His voice brought characters to life in a way that people could relate to, which made his place in the Russian entertainment business even stronger. Boris Bystrov died on August 18, 2024. He was 79 years old. He was a famous and important person in Russian films and theater for many years, and his death marked the end of an era. Bystrov's legacy lives on through his huge amount of work, which continues to entertain and inspire people. Many people remember him as a great actor who made a lasting impact on Soviet and Russian society. Whoopi Goldberg is a famous American actress, comedian, and TV host. She was born Karen Elaine Johnson on November 13, 1955 in New York City. She became famous after getting an Oscar for her roles in The Color Purple 1985 and Ghost 1990. She is now one of the few entertainers to have won an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony Award. She also works as an actress and is a co-host on The View, where she is known for speaking her mind. Goldberg has had health problems in recent years. In 2019, she was identified with pneumonia and sepsis, which is very dangerous and takes a long time to recover from. Even though Goldberg has these health problems, she is still involved in entertainment and campaigning, using her fame to bring attention to a number of social and health issues. Her ability to bounce back from setbacks and stay active in the industry shows how strong and influential she is.